Welcome back. Let's go out to the par 5 11th. And the third shot of Paul Azinger.
Paul is in the extreme right-hand side of the fairway. Hole location today at number 11 is front left, so should have a good angle. Kay, the yardage?
He's just inside 110 yards, 108 to be exact. A little three-quarter sand wedge.
Back in his heyday, Mark, this was his specialty right there. That is one of the things that I see Paul doing better here, especially toward the latter part of the year. His wedge play is getting back to the standard that Paul Azinger is used to.
And playing with the pair of Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger. Scott Gump and Leah York.
This team playing very solidly today. 4 birdies so far, and the big key has been that they've birdied both the par 5s and the par 3s on the front side. And before today, they were only 3 under par on the par 5, so knowing they really needed to take advantage of these holes.
This has been a team that really didn't seem to care about the format, Gary. They've shot 65 all 3 days.
Well, and that is impressive, to be very honest with you, because this modified alternate shot format is not that easy. I can tell you, I've played in it a number of times. Put a lot of pressure on your partner very easily.
And this is a tough hole location to get close to, just about 3 or 4 paces over the bunker.
Going to be a big full sand wedge. And carrying it behind the hole, trying to bring it back a little bit, but still leave a lengthy putt for a birdie.
Scott Gump, of course, the runner-up at the Players' Championship this year.
Had a chance to win that event, Mark. He went to the 71st hole, the famous Island Green, and like so many before him, put his tee shot in the water, made a double bogey, but he came back with a great birdie at 18 to finish second to David Duval, and I think that really helped him maintain some momentum through the year and ended up with his career year winnings of over $950,000 on the tour.
Here's a good look at Sayri Pak, who has taken a good look at what she's got left, Kay.
Well, this is a very tricky little shot.
Carry on the left
Where the caddy said 62 yards, that little in-between yardage. Not quite a full sand wedge, just have to take a little something off it. None of the players in this group
62 total.
even thought about going for the screen in 2 today. The wind is coming into their face.
Kay, maybe Sayri laid it up just a little bit too close?
Well, it's actually her partner that laid it up, and you know, that's a little hard sometimes to calculate exactly.
Tough to put much spin on the ball from this short a distance. And trying to get very cute. That comes up short, finds the front bunker, so obviously they'll be putting from where Paul Azinger's ball is now.
Now up ahead at the 15th, tee shot of Dottie Pepper.
This par 3 today measuring 171 yards for the ladies. Does play slightly downhill, perhaps maybe as much as a club. Should be indoor players and from the right. Big center hole location, and that's a well-played shot from Pepper. Very makeable birdie putt from there. She and partner Jeff Sluman rolling along nicely.
Now back at the 13th, Justin Leonard with a lengthy par putt.
Now this is what we talked about in the opening, Mark. You want to try to stay away from this situation in this alternate shot format. Long par putts is very, very tough to shoot a good score.
Now back at the 11th.
Now Maria Hjort will be putting. Both teams are looking at about almost the same length putts of just inside of 30 feet. Sayri going for the gamble there, came up short in that bunker, and that was the danger, trying to get too cute hitting into this hole.
Kay, you've been following this group a little bit. Any sign that Hjort and Gump are, intimidated at all by Azinger and Pak? I mean, you look at the team of Azinger and Pak, they've won numerous tournaments on their respective tours. Scott Gump has never won on the PGA Tour.
No, I think they've been very confident, and I'd have to say that that probably mostly is coming from Maria Hjort, who is playing with the most confidence ever in her career, having 2 wins in the last couple of months. should move a little right to left.
Good effort, good speed. Greens have been redone here, Mark, over the summer. And, they are rolling very nicely. Nice speed, not breakaway speed.
Now up at 13, Meg Mallon for her par.
Par 3. Some teams problems here at 13. That's a bogey for Mallon and Pate.
Now back at the 11th.
Well, you both mentioned that a lot was going to depend on Seri today, seeing as though she had not played well. Yesterday she had a little bit of a stomach virus that bothered her, not enough to impede her play too much, but today I've noticed she is coughing quite a bit, so I think she might have a touch of a cold.
Here's a look at yesterday's round, a 62, 9 under par for the team of Azinger and Seri Pak. And Kay, back at the 9th, Seri Pak made a birdie putt after Yorth and Gump had gotten within a shot. How big was that?
Oh, that was huge. Anytime your opponents start making a bit of a surge, you have to be in position to answer that, and they did. I don't think this, though, is a putt you really want to be too aggressive with. It's that distance that can get away from you.
We saw toward the end of yesterday's round, Seri struggle a little on the greens. Stroke seemed to get a little short and a little quick in the transition from backstroke to forward stroke. Like better rhythm there.
Well, as you mentioned in the opening, Gary, it's just difficult to be anything but conservative in a format like this.
Well, you have to be, you know, again, the last thing you want to do is knock that putt 4 or 5 feet by and leave that left for your partner. We just saw two teams on the par 3 13th. Both Leonard and Inkster and Mallon and Pate, both obviously very good teams, make bogeys on a relatively short par 3 because they left themselves long par putts.
Here's a look now at Paul Azinger's new putting style. First of all, a new putter. Look how long that thing
Yeah,
is.
46.5 inches. He went out to noted instructor Scotty Cameron, putter maker, and they came up with this thing. He sticks it right in his sternum and just kind of anchors it in there. Stroked the ball very confidently through the first 3 rounds.
So that'll be a par for the team of Azinger and Pak at the 11th. The field is chasing them. They lead by 2 in the final round of the JCPenney Classic. At the par 4 12th, John Daly for birdie.
This is a lengthy putt, Mark, coming down the hill at the start, kind of flattening out a little bit at the end, and oh, how about that?
Hello. We have seen John Daly make a number of putts of that distance this week.
Moves them to 21 under par and just 3 shots off the lead with 6 holes to play.
At the 13th, par 3, J.P. Hayes for his birdie.
Good effort there. He and partner Christy Albers having a good day today.
And as we look back down the 12th fairway, Gary, this is the final JCPenney Classic on somewhat of a sad note.
Well, I think it is. I think in talking to the players this week, most are disappointed that the event is going away. I think the members of the LPGA and the PGA Tour enjoyed getting together. It was really the only opportunity for them to come together and play in a tournament of 72 holes. It's a scheduling conflict. There's too many events these days, too many other places for players to play, and unfortunately, this is the last one, and I think most of the players are sad to see it go.
Well, neither JCPenney nor the Westin Innisbrook Resort are going to be without golf. There'll be a full field event here at the Westin Innisbrook Resort in Tampa Bay, and JCPenney, and that'll be on the men's tour. JCPenney's going to go on and sponsor an LPGA event in 2001. Now, second shot from Maria Yorth.
Maria is 169 yards out, looking at nothing but clearing water and bunkers. Very little green to work with between the fringe and pin. Going with a 6-iron.
Deceptive second shot here. Easy to come up short. It is a little bit uphill. There's about 6 or 7 yards of green between the front of the green and the bunker. And that is exactly what has happened, although not in a bad place.
And out at the 13th tee, we see John Daly, and out there with him, Donna Capone.
This is a 5-iron he selected to hit. Strong wind coming from the player's right. This is probably the strongest wind that these players have had all week.
All measuring 186 yards today for the men.
That's a 6-iron, trying to work the ball right to left towards that flag.
It's going for it to be right. It's a good shot. It's like 20 feet below the hole, putting up the hill.
Now back at the 12th, Paul Azinger.
And that a 9-iron from 154 yards.
Yet another ball mark comes up just short now. From the fairway, the players think that ball actually has a chance to be pretty close. It is a very deceptive second shot.
Not a bad spot to putt from, though, on that front apron.
Should be a very flat putt from there.
This team of Gump and Hjorth have really gotten along well together. Last year was the first year they played together, and both have said it's been much easier this year, having known each other now a little bit. From 152 yards, also a 9-iron. Trying to cut it in there. Needs to get up.
Okay, and does, just short of hole high. So both teams will have birdie opportunities at the 12th.
Now let's go back to the par 3 13th. Donna?
Ladies tee, 171 yards. Laura with a 6-iron. Again, wind strong from the player's right. Strong and into him. It switches. And that ball's going way left. Right towards the gallery.
And right into the gallery. Back to Sayre pocket 12.
Come on, baby, and feet perfect.
Not just a little 8-iron.
There's one of the shots we were talking about, Mark. That Sayre Pak, sooner or later, if this team was going to win, was going to have to come through with some good shots or good putts. There's one right there at 12.
And a smile at Sayre Pak. She and Paul Azinger with a close birdie attempt at 12, and they lead by 2. Welcome back to the 12th hole and the birdie attempt of Maria Hjorth.
With the team of Pak, Azinger in so close, this putt very important. A 10-footer for birdie to move to minus 23.
It was left all the way. You could tell by her reaction. She knew it wasn't going to go in.
She has a tendency at times to pull the putt. That is her putting flaw.
Obviously, though, has putted fairly well this year, having won twice.
And led the PGA or the LPGA in birdies made with 408, which was a new record. So, yeah, some have gone in, no doubt about that.
So as Scott Gump walks away with their par, Paul Azinger now with a very big putt.
They knock this in and go 3 shots ahead with 6 holes to play. And some of those holes very difficult holes, certainly holes hard to make birdies on. 15th a long par 3, 17 another long par 3, and 16 a very tough par 4. I think they've got to be feeling pretty good about things.
Gary, this is the distance that we've seen Paul have trouble with the last couple of years.
Well, he has been very quick with this length putt and has not hit him very solidly, but he looks very good with this long putter.
A birdie 3 at the 12th for Paul Azinger and Sayre Pak, and they now open up a 3-shot lead. And here is one of the pairs that is chasing them, Laura Davies and John Daly. Donna?
Laura and John were studying the leaderboard that's on the adjacent fairway. Very interested to see what Pak and Zinger are doing. Now this birdie putt uphill will move to the right.
Very easy to lose this to the right too, Donna,
Yes.
with the grain moving in that direction. A pretty good stroke.
Laura told me this morning she's been rolling the ball very well, but just edges. She says, I've been going over edges all week.
Well, a par 3 for them at 13. They'll go to the par 5 14th, and with their length, certainly an opportunity to get there in 2 as the hole is playing downwind.
It's the 4th year that John Daly and Laura Davies have played together. You can see their best finish in 1996. A very compatible pair, don't you think?
Oh, I think so too. I mean, their likes are very similar. There's no doubt about that. Something with thrill and adventure. It'll get both their attentions.
All right, let's go back to the 13th tee.
This hole playing 186 yards. Hole located 22 paces on, just 7 from the right. It almost is in the center portion of that back part of the green. If anything, the breeze is hurting just a tad.
No wind right now. It's a 6-iron, 184 total, right?
Looks like he's grabbed a 6-iron.
It's a 6 right this split second.
That's the club he used here yesterday. Pin was up a little bit yesterday, but there wasn't as much breeze.
Doesn't matter. What I have? 168. Remember? Total?
A lot of conversation going on there, Kay, but it seems to me like the officials try and set up the tee locations in order to get the players to hit similar clubs. We just saw John Daly and Laura Davies both hit 6-irons here.
Well, they try to do that, and they've done a pretty good job so far, and that's what would make it equal between the men and the women. Well, this going straight, but starting out left of the hole. And that wind just pushed it a little to the left at the end.
Just trickles through into the fringe. Not a bad position. Let's take a look at the swing of Paul Azinger here. Now, he's told us that he's been making a little adjustment, and feels as though he is swinging much better. And the adjustment really came in his shoulder line. He has tried to open his shoulders up a little bit more, thus allowing him to take the club straighter back. So let's see where that club goes as he takes it away. Yes, much better. Straighter back. And what it is allowing him to do is get into a better position at the top. The club not so much around behind him. And there's that patented Azinger hold-on finish.
Now Scott Gump.
He selected a 5-iron. Looking for it to cut, but that wind really counteracting any fade. Finds the putting surface, but it is a long way from the hole.
Both players will be looking to their partners to produce some better shots and give them a chance at birdie.
That's one of the interesting things about this format, Gary. He hits a shot down there and leaves a 40-footer for his partner.
Yeah. It can create some interesting situations, Mark. No doubt about that.
And this should be between a 5 and a 6-iron for Sayri. She's pulled her 6-iron though.
Yeah, the tendency with the hole cut over on the right is to want to favor the left side, and as Kay has mentioned, the breeze blowing the balls in that direction. Green really runs at an angle, kind of from front left portion to back right. And even though Paul Azinger's ball is probably just past pin high, if you go too far left pin high, you will miss the green.
Well, coming in here with a 5-iron, chances are it's not going to sit down much, and there's not a whole lot of room behind. So 6-iron is the choice, and this going right at the flag. Perfect line.
Okay, well done. Underneath the hole. And that will give Azinger a chance at birdie.
Now up ahead at the 14th, defending champion Steve Pate.
Here's the par 5. Partner Meg Mallon and Pater. He's made a few this year too. Best earnings year ever. Over 1.7 million on the PGA Tour. Of course, the winning Ryder Cup team.
Now back at 13.
After seeing where Sayri's ball ended up, Maria, the longer hitter, going with 6, and this looks pretty good.
Oh, it is good. It is good within 15 feet of the hole and putting up the hill.
So that'll give the team of Yorth and Gump an excellent birdie opportunity at 13. There's a look at how they stand. Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger at 25 under, lead by 3. It has been a long 6 years since Paul Azinger has been in the victory circle. And a beautiful look from up above at the 13th green here at the Westin Innisbrook Resort in Tampa Bay.
Paul Azinger's tee shot found the first cut of rough, but thanks to his partner's solid iron shot, they do have a putt now for birdie.
So you might wonder why has Paul gone to this new putter, this longer putter, ranked 111th PGA Tour putting stats in 1999. So obviously he's looked at that and figured out he needs to do something differently if he's going to get back into the winner's circle.
Sometimes you need a radical change to give you a new perspective. Well, if you don't make them, that's what you want to do. Leave your partner with an easy tap in.
And a comfortable 3 for Azinger and Pock. And now a very makeable birdie putt for Scott Gump.
And this is almost the same length as the putt they had on the last hole. Maria missed that birdie attempt. Now let's see if Gump can convert this one.
Another player who's made a change. Scott has gone to the cross-handed left-hand low grip, and just this week, as a matter of fact. Never had a chance. Green holding that ball out to the right. He's looking at it like he thought it would move left, but it is not going to happen.
Paul Azinger's last trip to the winner's circle came all the way back in 1993, a lot due to his well-documented battle with cancer. But he's made some changes this week that just might get him back to that winner's circle. And Gary Koch had a chance to talk with him yesterday.
Paul, you've been saying for a pretty good while now that you're close to playing the way you want to play to get into contention. You're there this week. What's been the difference?
Well, let's see. I've made, some adjustments. Really the last month or so of the year, I started to open my shoulders up just a hair more than they were, Gary. I was getting the club, I felt like, just too far back in behind me, and that fundamental change has helped me. I worked a little bit with Bob Rotella, and he kind of, he helped me. He reminded me of some of the things I used to do that I'd just forgotten, and I kind of think concentration is a learned behavior more than anything, and he just reminded me of a lot of things. And John's helped me. I've had so many people help me. A good friend at home's been helping me, and it's just a kind of a combination of a bunch of things, finally starting to come together. And I got a partner to back me up, so
that helps.
that helps.
Well, we all know, those of us that have played the game for a living and that have won tournaments, that winning breeds confidence. It breeds winning. How important would winning this event be to you right now?
Well, it would be, a nice step in the right direction. In a lot of ways, this tournament's harder to win than when you're trying to win one on your own, because you got a partner you're trying to carry. I mean, I don't feel any of that stress with Sari Pak, and I'm sure she doesn't feel any of that with me. We're kind of just trying to do our own thing here. But it would be good. I've played really well in both best ball days, and reasonably well the alternate shot day. So my confidence, is growing, and that's really all you can hope for. I've just been trying to get in contention, Gary, and we're here, we're leading, which is really neat.
If you were to win, could you envision that being a springboard for maybe a big year for you next year, in the year 2000?
Who knows? It's hard to know what the future has in store for any of us. We've been through a lot this year, and I think I'm just looking to try to just do things well and not really look for springboards, and just trying to just do the things that I know make you successful. And it's like trying to play for money. If you came out here and tried to play for the money, I don't think you could do it. There's too much money out here, and the pressure would be too great. You come out here and you try to go through the process that it takes to win, and the winning comes, and then you're happy, and then the money comes. So I'm not looking for stepping stones. I'm looking to go through this routine of trying to pull it off, and if it's a springboard, so be it. My confidence, I think, is growing, and who knows what next year has in store for me.
I read just the other day where you said it was real important for you to get back to playing some tournament golf to try to help you to cope with the tragedy that happened with Payne and Van Arden and Robert Fraley.
Yeah.
Has it helped this week, or do you feel any different?
It's been nice to get back out here, and and the support group out here, I think, is great. I've had a lot of people come to me and comment. I think that tragedy has affected a lot of lives in a very positive way, and you know, there's some good that has come out of that in that respect. And I did need to get out. I felt like I could just sit at home and wallow in it, and I committed shortly after the services to come play here because I felt like that it was important to have something to shoot for, and it's been a lot better because of it, I think.
Gary, it has been a difficult couple of months, especially for a guy like Paul Azinger. What kind of an influence has Bob Rotella had on him?
Well, I think the conversation that Paul was mentioning there, I think he's helped Paul to get his concentration back. I watch Paul now this week. He's much more into his routine. His focus seems to be there, and I think he is playing much more the way we're used to seeing Paul Azinger play.
Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger lead the final round of the JCPenney Classic. Can Azinger hold on for his first win in 6 years? We'll find out when we come back. At the 18th hole, Dr. Dirt himself, Brad Bryant.
Second shot to the uphill par 4. Back center hole location today. Very difficult to get the ball all the way back to that flagstick.
Bryant and his partner, Marta Figueres-Dottie, at 20 under par, former champions. Gary, this will be Brad Bryant's final event. He is retiring.
Has announced his retirement, says he might actually caddy a little bit for his brother Bart, who just recently got his tour card at the PGA Tour qualifying school.
All right, this is J.P. Hayes at the par 5, 14th for his birdie. And partner Christy Albers at 21 under. That one pretty much had to go in for them to have a chance, and it did.
And they are playing quite well today, Mark. 6 under par through 14 holes in the 5 alternate shot format.
Again, to remind the viewers, they played best ball for 2 rounds and modified alternate shot for 2 rounds. And a good look at the pair of Justin Leonard and Julie Inkster for birdie.
I would think this team has to be a little disappointed with their play today. Just 1 under par. And of course, Inkster coming off an unbelievable year. 5 wins, 2 majors. And Justin, a very solid year himself. No wins, but earnings of over $2 million.
On paper, certainly this team looked to be one of the favorites coming into this week.
I think you'd have to say that. It actually moves a little more left than the players think. Very difficult green to read, especially in the back portion of the putting surface. It really kind of falls away to the back right of the green, and hard to pick that up.
Now at the 14th hole, par 5, the second shot of Laura Davies. Donna?
This from 232. It's 207 to the front edge. She has a large tree right in front of her. She's going to have to negotiate. She's elected to hit a 3-iron. She only has to hit it 207 to the front, and it nicked a tree.
And it may have kicked back into the water. Hard to tell.
Well, their partner John, off of her tee shot, was way right. He tried to hit a 1-iron on the front of the green and is just short of it. So that was a good shot.
Now up at the finishing 18th hole, the second shot of Robert Damron.
And that Sorenstam that is his partner is Charlotta, sister of more famous Annika. Damron out of Orlando, plays at Bay Hill. Shot reminiscent of Arnold Palmer there, huh?
See the leaderboard down there in the corner of your screen. They trail by 3 shots, and Gary, you pretty much would think they would have to birdie at least 3 of the 4 holes coming in.
Well, I would think that's probably accurate. And Mark, that is quite a task because you have 2 long par 3s and 2 pretty good par 4s in the last 4 holes. JP, a winner in '98 at the Buick Classic. Then Westchester hangs that one out to the right.
And the other pair in this group. Esteban Toledo will play his tee shot next.
Esteban is playing in this event for the very first time. He's going with a 4-iron, a little longer club. Esteban not one of the longer hitters, but very accurate. Likes to move the ball a little bit from left to right. If that'll release a little bit. Nicely done.
$52 teams playing here this week in the final JCPenney Classic. Total purse of $2 million, and there's a gentleman chasing some of that money, and Donna is out there with him.
Well, you see where Laura's ball ended up on the inside of the hazard, on the upslope, not in the water. 75 yards for Daly. He's gently walked in there so he doesn't fall in that water.
He's got a slope in the green, and he might be able to utilize, but it just came out of that rough too fast, didn't it, Donna?
Yes, but you know, it's still a birdie putt.
Now back at the 15th tee, our first look at Christy Albers, partner of J.P. Hayes.
Finished 43rd on the LPGA money list in 1999 with earnings of just under $200,000. Interestingly, Mark, this pair both live in El Paso, Texas. Play some golf together at home back there.
And as the wind starts to pick up here at 15 into their face, obviously playing in El Paso, they're used to this.
Hole measuring 171 yards from the women's tees today. This is a nice situation. Your partner's already hit it up there about 15, 18 feet from the hole. You know the worst you're going to do is walk up and hit that putt. Takes a little of the pressure off of you.
I got it way up.
She said she got it way up in the air. As you might expect into the wind, that comes up way short.
Now back at the 14th, third shot of Laura Davies.
Little pitch shot. It's kind of over the corner of the bunker there. Everything turns from right to left. And at about 7 or 8 feet, and I think perhaps a little disappointed with that.
Laura Davies and John Daly at 21 under par. They're chasing the leaders, Sayre Pak and Paul Azinger. They trail by 4. John Daly for his birdie at 14.
Laura not happy that she didn't get that ball close to the hole, even though she hits it long. The strength, I think, is her short game around the greens. Yes, John Daly making that, moving them to 22 under.
Solid stroke there. He has putted the ball nicely this week. Another one of the players using a new putter. Moves them into a tie for second.
Now up ahead at the 18th, we mentioned before, Brad Bryant playing in his final PGA Tour event. This for birdie.
Chance to get them to 21 under, which would be a really nice finish for the winners of this event back in 1993.
I suspect we'll see Brad Bryant every once in a while, don't you think, Gary?
You know, retirement is, you know, it just sounds so final, doesn't it? I don't know many golfers that can stick to that. We'll see, though.
I don't think he could fish any more than he has been during his career, Harvey.
Well, he's talking about being a Cub Scout leader and Boy Scout leader for his sons back home, so I'm sure he will enjoy his time. And I said 93 champions, and I should have said 94.
Now the second shot of Paul Azinger at the 14th.
He has a long distance, 280 to the pin, counting on the wind to help this shot.
Well, it comes up about 30 yards short and in the left rough, and his partner, Sayre Pak, will have to pitch the ball over a gaping bunker with not much green to work with.
Now up ahead at the 18th, Charlotta Sorensen for birdie after Robert Danman put it in real close. And an excellent finish for the team of Sorensen and Danman. Now back at 14, Scott Gump.
He's going to try to give his best to get this on or on the front of the green.
Unusual swing here, Mark. Gets it up there, gets it across the line. Lengthy swing, but it seems to work for him.
And the wind is helping and blowing left to right at the same time.
He has got it up onto the putting surface. It's a long way from the hole, but on in 2.
Well, that unusual swing of Scott Gump has cashed checks worth $954,000 this year. We're at the Westin Innisbrook Resort in Tampa Bay, Florida. It's the final round of the 1999 JCPenney Classic. Can Sayre Pak and Paul Azinger hang on? We'll find out. Welcome back to the JCPenney Classic. The third shot of Scott Gump, the par 5 14th.
Momentary loss of concentration for him. He just hit his second shot on the green and forgot he had to hit again off of Kjorth's layup. That he did nicely with a wedge.
Well played, but obviously they'll take the other ball.
Just to remind our viewers that this is the modified alternate shot format. This is a par 5, so all 4 players hit 3 shots. They choose the best and alternate into the hole.
Azinger with a little 3/4 sand wedge. We've seen that shot before today.
This is right back to vintage Azinger. That's the type of shot I remember Paul hitting so well back in 91, 92, 93, his heydays on the PGA Tour. Great to see that back. And now putting with some confidence as well. Look out. He may just well get to have a big year in 2000.
Now up ahead at the 15th, the tee shot of John Daly. Team of Christy Albers and J.P. Hayes made bogey just a moment ago here.
This is a 4-iron that John has in his hand, and it's caught the wind. It's blowing from right to left.
And it will miss the green to the left.
I thought that was an awful lot of club for him. 199 with crosswind. Hole plays probably a half a hole down, half a club. I'll get this out downhill.
Now back at the 14th. Paul Azinger had put his second shot over here in the left rough, so Sayre Pak will play a third from here.
Kay, this shot almost harder than the one that Azinger had to play.
Well, absolutely, and that was key that Azinger hit his shot up there so nicely. Now Sayre can perhaps free up a little bit and get a little more creative with this shot. She almost needs to hit really just a pure full flop shot. Only a 30-yard shot total, but needs to carry it 20 and then only about 10 paces to the hole location.
Coming out of the light rough and downwind, tough to stop it.
She played it nicely, though.
Well done, but with Azinger's great shot in there, Pak will be the one putting.
Now John Daly's partner, Laura Davies, at the 15th tee.
I think this is such a key shot. Laura must get this ball close to the hole. Not many holes left. 171 yards. This is a 7-iron. And she's trying to knock it down and let it ride the wind right to left, and it's staying out.
So both John Daly and Laura Davies missed the green here at 15. Chances are they will choose to play Laura Davies' ball, though, because Daly's is long and left. Now a par attempt. United States Open champion Julie Inkster at the 16th.
Now this par 4, a very difficult hole, Mark, and playing into the wind, so not surprising to see a lengthy par putt. So that bogey will drop them back to even par for the day, and just, you can tell by her reaction, not much going right.
She and Justin Leonard turned at 19 under and have lost 3 shots on the backside. Now back at 14, Maria Jorth-Frieda.
Well, this is truly a seagoer. A good 60 feet in length. Breaks quite a bit from right to left as well. This will be a challenge to get this within a 3-foot circle. Totally misread the amount of break right to left right there.
Well, surprisingly, even with Jorth's length and Gump's good putting, this team is yet to birdie this par 5 in the first 3 rounds. So Still some work cut out for him. I assume they'll be putting first, Kay. They're farther away than Azinger's ball, correct?
It looks like that, yes.
And now a very important putt for Scott Gump.
In any tournament situation, whether you're playing for yourself or in a team, you have to take advantage of the par fives. And this team, despite the fact, as I mentioned earlier, only 3 under on the first 3 rounds on the par fives, managed to birdie the first 2, but did not birdie 11, and they really will kick themselves if they don't birdie this.
I mentioned that Gump has just recently gone to this left-hand low grip. This will be a good test for him under some pressure. But that'll move to the left up the hill. It's slow.
Putting it through his shadow, and that appeared to be right all the way. He has shoved a couple of putts in the last 3 holes.
The birdie putt at 13 that was up the hill. Missed well to the right.
Gary said he putts left-hand low sometimes for practice, but he wanted to put it into tournament play to see how it would hold up.
Wonder if he discussed that with his partner before he made that decision.
Now up ahead at the 18th, Dottie Pepper for par.
Her partner Jeff Sluman playing together for the 5th time in this event.
And another good finish at the JCPenney Classic for Pepper and Sluman. Final round is 65. And up ahead at 17, Mike Springer is for a birdie.
Yes, a lengthy putt up the hill. He turning to his right early in the putt and then try to straighten up. Oh, look at that. He and his partner Melissa McNamara will be celebrating that one.
And they have celebrated here before. Now Sayri Pak for her birdie at 14. Wow, so after the great shot by Paul Azinger in there, Pak fails to convert.
That was the stroke we saw her use a little bit toward the end of yesterday's round. Shorter, quicker, and pulled.
So as Sayri Pak heads off the 14th green, Paul Azinger will have a little practice putt here. We've got 4 holes to go and lead by 3. In 1990, Beth Daniel and Davis Love III began a successful partnership with a 5-stroke victory over Nancy Lopez and Jay Haas. They'd go on to win a 2nd title in 1995, but unfortunately had to bow out of this year's tournament when Daniel suffered a back injury. Now at the 17th tee, Justin Leonard.
Now this 17th has been the most difficult par 3 on the golf course through 3 rounds. And no surprise today, playing 228 yards for the men. Imagine that as a 2-iron from Justin.
What a friendly kick there. That ball will find the putting surface, albeit some 35 or 40 feet short. And while we were away, this was the par attempt of Laura Davies.
Well, I must say it was a poor chip by John Daly to leave her this lengthy putt. Ball was not that far off the putting surface, but that was clutch.
So John Daly and Laura Davies stay alive. They still trail by 3 shots. And we are now back live at the tee.
Azinger, who gets a good amount of distance out of his irons, has selected a 5-iron. This hole 199 yards. As we've said, plays about a club downhill, but right now it's into almost a club of wind.
Well, Paul with that very strong grip keeps his hands well ahead, kind of traps the ball down and de-lofts the club, and that's why he hits the iron so far.
It really bores through any wind, Gary. And this is on the flag. About a half a club short.
Well, in their situation, he could afford that. You certainly don't want to put the ball over the green and leave a downhill chip coming back.
17th tee, one of the defenders, Meg Mallon.
Measuring 176 yards today for the women. And that ball just catching a big knob that cuts into the green there off that bunker and kicking it well left. A well-played shot.
15th tee, Scott Gump.
Has the benefit of going to school off of Azinger's shot. He has selected a 3-iron. I'm going to try to land it just about where Azinger's ball has ended up. He's pulled this a bit left of the flag, but all in all, a pretty good shot.
Yeah, ball hung right in there. Scott has a tendency to work the ball from left to right. I mentioned he has a little bit of an unusual swing. And let's take a look. You can see a lot of knee flex here, and his hands are quite low. And as we get the club up to the top, he'll bring it in and then up and across the line and very long. You can see kind of a bent left wrist there. Strong position. He'll come across, hold on. Beautiful position there with his hands. And that's what allows him to hit that left to right shot. Very high finish. So a swing that, Mark, you probably wouldn't teach someone, but it works very well for him.
And will he need to make some adjustments as time goes on in order to have a lengthy career?
I don't know. He's a very flexible guy. I think that's what may work for him.
Not a good swing, a little bit of a lazy swing for Pack with the 5-iron.
Still okay, hole high, and they'll have a choice to make.
Now up the par 3, 17th. Tee shot of Julie Inkster.
We saw some radar-like irons from this lady at the U.S. Women's Open, didn't we, Mark? I mean, it was just hole after hole, and there's a good shot, just a little unlucky.
Now back at 15, Maria Yorth.
At a 5-iron, trying to knock it down. She pull hook this one. She's been trying to work on working the ball a little more left to right.
So Maria Yorth safely on the green at 15. But she and Scott Gump have a lot of work to do. They trail Azinger and Pack by 3 shots. Julie Inkster off Justin Leonard's shot, the 17th for birdie.
Long birdie putt, big swing from right to left, right in through there, coming off that knob. And whoa, whoa. Julie saying to her partner, now you can chip it.
Oh, and what a smile. 1999 was a year to remember for Julie Inkster. Not only did she win a couple of major championships, she showed us a new way to celebrate.
I can't go through this interview without asking you. We saw it at the Solheim Cup, and we saw a little bit of it Saturday at the Open and at the LPGA. Now,
I know,
you're known
I know.
for your great golf.
I
Where's
know.
this dancing thing coming from?
Oh, I don't know. The Solheim Cup was just, it was just emotions just coming out. I mean, it's like maybe like the guys running out on the green on 17 at the Ryder Cup. I mean, it's just so much emotion, and I don't know where it came from, but you know, I think where I am at my career and later on in life and things that are happening to me now, I think I just appreciate more, and I want to have fun with it, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's just maybe have a little fun with it.
And next Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern, we'll see more of Julie, Payne Stewart, of course, and all the USGA champions. Our 1999 USGA Year in Review show. 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on NBC. Now let's go back to 16. Christy Albers for her par.
Okay, nicely done. 16th, a lengthy par 4 playing into the wind. It is a challenge, and they're happy to have a 4.
Now back at the par 3, 15th, Paul Azinger.
Putt from some 30-plus feet. Across the green, should move a little bit to his right. Oh, that's a confident-looking stroke in it, Mark. I mean, he's licking his chops with that thing rolling up there.
Right into the hole.
So having watched his partner Julie Inkster rip it about 8 feet by, Justin Leonard will have this putt for par at 17.
Justin with a little adjustment in his putting. New putter, a little more weight in the toe. He's changed the loft from 3 degrees to 5 degrees and is trying to get the ball a little farther forward in his stance. So, you know, it's amazing. No matter how successful guys are, they're always tinkering with something. They're always trying to get a little bit better. And I know Justin had a great year. He won over $2 million, but he failed to win a tournament. And I'm sure to him that's unacceptable. Just sliding away to the right with the grain, running in that direction toward the setting sun.
So yet another bogey for the team of Inkster and Leonard. Now Laura Davies.
Back from 166 with a 5-iron, and again has hooked this ball right in the center of the green. Hole location 23 back and 6 from the right.
Now at the 15th, Maria Yorth for her birdie.
Huge putt for this team. They must make this one, I think, to have a realistic chance. That's right all the way. The head came up so quickly, Mark. And that, you know, you have to wonder, is that the pressure? Maybe a little anxious to see where it's going, but that ball needed to be started left of the hole.
Well, they have had their chances, that's for sure. We saw Scott Gump, this one of similar distance, back at 14. And this will be Scott Gump for his par. So he and Maria York will head to the 16th tee, trailing by 3 shots. Now up ahead, our first look at Bill Glasson at the 16th. Donna?
Glasson 165 on the right side of the fairway. Tough angle into that hole. As I said, it's 23 back. Ball right up here. Balloon. Front bunker.
He and partner Joan Pitcock not having a good day either. They are 1 over for the day.
And Bill has a place that he spends some time here in the winter at East Lake Woodlands, just about 10 miles away.
Now back at the 15th. Par attempt of Sayri Pak putting into her shadow. Safely in though. And they will head to the 16th tee with a 3-shot lead. And over here left of 16 we find John Daly. Okay.
124 yards. Laura drove it through the fairway. There's a large tree about 75 yards in front of him, but he's going to have to work the ball right to left. Oh, this ball over. It's a right club. Oh, half club short.
It's up a little bit short, but amazing the hands that this guy has and his ability to work the ball, to knock it down, to turn it right to left, left to right. Well, you just, as so many people do, you pull for the guy. You want him to do well. He certainly has the talent, Mark.
Well, we've seen a lot of smiles on John Daly's face this week, Gary. He seems to be comfortable with the format and I guess comfortable with the decisions he's made in his life.
Well, I guess so. And you know, I had to think that coming in, maybe playing with Laura Davies, who was playing well at the end of the year, might, you know, sometimes that confidence can be shifted from one player to another. And good performance here this week. Maybe that's what he needs, because coming in here, he was talking very negatively about his golf game.
And hit it the same way. He got flush.
Now back at the tee, Paul Azy.
Toughest drive on the back 9.
He's hit a low shot trying to keep it below the wind, and it's hooking.
And that will be deep into the trees. This is a tough tee shot. Water on the right, trees on the left.
Well, and that is going to put some real pressure now on Sayri Pak, who has not driven the ball particularly well.
There's a good look from the fairway back to the tee. And I promise you, that water is in play.
Well, Gary, when you're playing this hole into the wind, you have to favor the left-hand side more, and if you just hit a straight shot and don't cut it at all, you'll find those trees easily.
Well, that's what makes the hole so difficult, doesn't it, Kay?
Well, it was the 4th toughest hole overall, and a whole lot easier to play when you're playing a best ball.
Yeah, we've only seen 6 birdies here today. Important tee shot now for Gump.
It's going down the left-hand side. Ideal.
Okay, safely in the fairway.
Now up ahead at par 3 17th, tee shot of J.P. Hayes.
228 yards. That's a mammoth par 3. Long iron shot.
And you can see the ball kick off that mound again. Pretty good distance control,
that's
though.
an excellent shot. You're going to be very hard pressed to get the ball much closer to the hole than that with that hole location at 17.
Now the tee shot of Sayri Pak.
This team has only made one bogey all week, and that came earlier today at the 6th, and that came after each player, both Pak and Azinger, found the trees on each side of the fairway. So Sayri focusing on the left center of this fairway. She's hooked this one.
Well, it needs to get down then. And I believe that one has found the trees as well. So.
Well, we saw Paul Azinger play a tremendous shot out of those trees earlier in the week, Gary, and it looked like Sayri's ball hit the tree, maybe came fairly straight down. It isn't too deep in the woods. Now up ahead at 17, tee shot of Christy Albers.
Christy has battled some back problems through the years, but seems to be relatively healthy now. Just trying to get the ball way to the right and asking for it to turn with the wind, but not turning quite enough.
Now back at the 16th green. Birdie attempt of John Daly.
We've seen him make some bombs this week. Mark, you think he's got one more in him?
They could sure use it right now.
Yeah, he could indeed. Up the hill. Should be moving to John's right. I'll tell you what's been amazing is his speed has been fantastic. Oh, yeah.
Wow, how about lightning in a bottle right there? John Daly from 50 feet. He and Laura Davies moved to 23 under. Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger in trouble. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Second shot of Sayri Pak at the 16th.
Almost an impossible shot, a restricted backswing. 198 yards to the green, and that number is really not in her mind right now. She's just trying to get out of these trees and back into the fairway somehow, some way.
Sayri, of course, playing the tee shot of Paul Azinger. She's pulled it left.
Well, it's left of the trees going down the cart path.
And she got a heck of a bounce. The ball bounced off a tree and back to the right, and that is actually not bad. Good angle, plenty of green to work with.
You see that ball sitting there about 8 feet left of the flag. Tremendous second shot here at 16. This was it just a moment ago. Maria Yorth playing Scott Gump's tee shot.
This with a 17-degree 5-wood. Who is 8th on the LPGA in greens hit regulation, comes up with a fantastic shot.
And that is a very good look at the tee shot that Sayri Pak played, which Paul Azinger will now have to play.
I can't imagine he knows where that ball ended up. The last they saw it from here was that it was going down the cart path. The shot he is going to have to hit off of Sayri Pak's drive is right underneath the oleander bush. He's just going to have a minimal backswing. He looks like he's taking a fairway wood.
I thought maybe he was going to take an unplayable life for a minute, Kate, with that club.
Well, he's just going to try to create something out of virtually nothing.
You know, you have to wonder, Mark, if he would even bother to play the shot, which, you know, you never know what could happen here. You might hurt yourself if you get the club hung up in the bush or something, but if he knew where that other ball was, he may not play it.
I'm not sure I wouldn't go up there and see where it was at this point, Gary.
I wouldn't think that would be a bad idea at all, to kind of get a much better feel for exactly where the ball to Sayri Pak finished.
And Sayri is only about 10 yards ahead of him to the left. It's sort of hiding behind an oak tree
He
trunk.
probably wants to get out of there, and so Paul can't say something to her about hitting her tee shot here.
He went back to a mid-iron and just chipped it out, which I think probably was a smart shot.
Now Daly at 17. Donna?
That's a 5-iron, but he's hit it way right into the gallery and just catching the right side of the bunker. Hole 228 yards downwind.
So the pressure now on Laura Davies at 17. Remember, this is a par 3. They alternate after the first shots on a par 3. Now back to Scott Gump at 16.
Scott has a good lie in the rough. 166 yards is the total. Wind coming out of the left and hurting. This would normally be a comfortable 7, although should play a little bit longer. He might be going with the grip down 6.
Well, the nice thing is ball coming out of the rough and the hole is cut in the back portion of the green. He can land it short of the hole and let it release. Doesn't need to stop it quickly.
The real nice thing is his partner Marie Yorst up there about 8 feet from the hole.
That's true. Makes it a whole lot easier.
And now a very important shot at 17 for Laura Davies.
Very important, 176. She's likely to hit a hard 7-iron. Anything just short of this flag will pitch to the back edge of the green. And she's hit it hard, trying to work the ball left to right, but it's right in the center of the green.
Donna, really not much she could do there after John Daly put it in the bunker. She did not want to miss it right here.
Well, importantly, she's put it right in his distance. He's about 35 feet away.
Well, John Daly's distance has been very long this week. He and Laura Davies trail Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger by 2 shots. Final round of the JCPenney Classic.
Stand still, please.
Welcome back to the Westin Innisbrook Resort in Tampa Bay. Final round of the JCPenney Classic, and the 3rd shot from our leader, Paul Azinger.
After a few lucky bounces, has himself a swing darn close to that pine tree. 3 inches closer to it, and he would have had almost an impossible chip shot. I mean, he's quite a magician around the greens. Really has to pick this ball up to avoid the trunk. I mean, pick the club up. I counted on a little more release than that, but all in all, they've got a putt for par.
Well, if you follow the bouncing ball here, you will see just how fortunate Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger were. This was Pak's shot. It hits a man in the gallery, which gets it back on the cart path. Kaboing, kaboing, and watch it kiss right off this tree and back in play. That could have been a disaster.
It could have gone anywhere. And you know, sometimes when you win golf tournaments, it's little things like that. Fate does play a part. And that was obviously a very good break for their team.
This now a very interesting situation. Sayri Pak with a par putt here of about 25 feet. One that you certainly can't be too aggressive with. And they are looking at maybe a 1-shot lead when they leave this green.
Well, I think that's a very realistic expectation. I mean, if they make bogey and drop to 24 under, Daly and Davies are 23, and Yorth and Gump have a very short putt to reach that figure as well. So we talked about it as the players reach the tee here at the 16th. It is a difficult par 4, tough driving hole, and you can make a bogey very easily.
When they both saw where their drives were, bogey almost at that point was looking good. They had to be careful that they didn't get themselves in a position where they're making a double bogey.
Sayri Pak has had another brilliant season on the LPGA. 4 wins, almost $1 million, 3rd on the money list, but it's a different kind of pressure, Gary, when you've got a partner.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, it's very difficult, Mark, in my mind, or it was when I used to play in this event, to get your mind off of the poor shot you played that put your partner in the bad position off the tee. And you really do. You need to clear your mind of that. You really got to try to get focused back on trying to make the best stroke possible on this putt. Again, we've seen her putting stroke over the last few holes get a little short, a little quick. Let's see if she can roll the ball the right speed on this putt. was a good stroke. Good stroke, excellent roll, but still a bogey 5.
Yes, but as Kay Cockrell said, I think 5 was just about as good a score as they were going to make.
Yeah, I think realistically that's probably true. Drops them back to 24 under. Just one ahead of Daly and Davies.
And high above the Westin Innisbrook Resort today is the Bud 1 airship, providing beautiful aerial shots of the Tampa Bay area in today's JCPenney Classic. Michelob Light is the official beer of the PGA Tour. Now, attempting to apply a dagger to the heart of Pack and Azinger, Scott Gump for birdie.
Oh, pin high left. Little movement left to right.
Oh, wow.
He cannot believe it. Now 17, John Daly for birdie.
35-footer is going to break a little bit left the first 2 or 3 feet, and then a big swing back to the right. Good foot. There's a large mound just to the left of this hole.
His speed, as we mentioned, as the last putt went in on the last hole, has really been great this week. Even the ones that don't go in are scaring the hole. So perhaps John will take that with him into next year as well.
Well, he's working on keeping his head steady, and to move the ball, he moved the ball back in his stance just a little bit. Seems to be helping.
So a par at 17 for Davies and Daly. They have no way of knowing yet what has happened to Pack and Azinger back at 16. However, they do know that's a difficult hole, Gary, so there's always a chance teams
Oh
can
yeah,
make
I
bogey.
think so. And what a nice advantage these two might have on the next hole, a long uphill par 4. If they can get a couple of drives in play with their length, they'll certainly be coming into the green with shorter approach shots. And 18 is a very difficult par 4. Back center hole location. There've been just 4 birdies on the hole today, so it'll be interesting.
We're here at the Copperhead course at the Westin Innisbrook Resort. Sort of a unique design feature here in that there are 3 par 3s on the backside, Gary. The 13th, the 15th, and the 17th. This is the 17th tee.
You don't see that very often. Certainly 3 par 3s, and especially that close together on a golf course.
Such a challenging hole, and the wind is coming from behind, quartering from the right, and they're trying to just make sure how much of it is it hurting, is it going right to left more or helping. Selected a 3-iron. Taking it down the center with a little fade. A beautifully played shot.
That is well done. That is very well done. Hole high left. That really, with that hole location today, Mark, that's all you can ask for from 228 yards. Put the ball up there in the center of the green. Give your partner a good putt at it. Maybe she can be a little bit more aggressive because she has a shorter shot and a shorter club going in.
Well, the players really have to hit a cut shot here.
You got 6 behind it.
Both to try to carve it in towards the flag and also combat the wind that's right across.
It's going just like this right here.
And see, that's a tough wind. You have to try to figure out, is it helping more or is it just going more across?
Well, it's not unusual for the wind to swirl around this golf course here at the Copperhead course. Most of the holes tree lined, a lot of pines, a few oaks thrown in there, and you know, the wind gets coming down there. A lot of tunnels created. You can see the trees lining both sides of the hole there at 17.
Well, they made a club change, went back to the 4-iron, and got a confirmation from his caddy that that is a good club.
Well, I think with Paul's ball flight, which is a little bit lower than some of the other players on the tour, that probably is a good call. You certainly don't want to carry the ball all the way back to the hole or anywhere near it.
Well, right as he was getting ready to hit it, then the wind almost appeared to be more across, right to left.
Right. Opening the shoulders. See if the club goes back nice and straight.
It's going right on the line of the flag, moving to the left with the wind.
there's an example of the focus we talked about. You know, he didn't play until he was settled, until he was ready. He had in his mind exactly what the wind was doing, exactly what kind of shot he wanted to play. That's the Azinger of old.
Now up ahead at the 18th tee. Very important tee shot. John Daly, and he likes it.
Well, I can see why that baby is launched.
Somebody in the gallery yelled 4. They were yelling at the standard bearers up ahead. Here's Maria Yorth at 17.
Oh, this is a beauty. She's taking it right of the flagstick, drawing it in.
Oh, very unfortunate. Just caught the side of that nose that comes into the green, that knob, and kicked it dead left. If that ball just kicks forward at all, it's got a chance to be very close to the hole.
Now Laura Davies, and she will not leave anything in the bag here. Tee shot at 18.
Starting to left, trying to play it left to right, which is the ideal shape on the 18th hole. There'll be a couple of short irons going in there.
So that team with a very good chance for birdie at 18. And now Sayri Pak with her partner Paul Azinger on the green can be aggressive.
Uphill, 176 yards, going with a 6. Taking it right at the flag, letting the wind drift it to the left.
Well, who will they choose to putt that ball? I suspect you might see Paul Azinger putting that one. They've got a one-shot lead. We'll be right back. In 1980, Curtis Strange and newlywed Nancy Lopez Melton sailed into the winner's circle of the JCPenney Classic. The weather was perfect for the team, which had won more money since February of 1979 than the entire $400,000 JCPenney purse. And now we are out to 17 live. The birdie attempt of Scott Gump.
Really good position to be putting from, 28 feet below the hole. Only about 2 or 3 inches right to left break.
You have to say one thing. He's hit a couple of good putts here, Mark, but not finding the hole. The misses have all been to the right, with the exception of the last, which was a very good putt.
That will leave a tester for partner Maria Yorth.
Not one she relishes, I'm sure. Her putting has really not been very strong today. And both Sayri and Paul Azinger's balls were about the same distance away. Sayri's a little bit closer. So Paul will do the putting for birdie.
Gary, we've talked so much about the 6 long years since Paul Azinger won. That was all the way back in August of 1993. People forget just how great a year 1993 was for Paul Azinger.
Well, he finished, what, in the top 3, something like 10 times that year. I mean, it was a phenomenal year. Yes, no question about it. Won the PGA Championship. He was certainly on the top of his game.
Of course, it was December of that year when he discovered that Paul had lymphoma in his right shoulder blade. And even some 2 or 3 years after that, Gary, he told me that the most difficult thing for him in the comeback was the mental approach to the game.
Well, again, I've touched on that in watching him this week. He seems to be as strong mentally and as focused as I've seen him in a long time.
He's laying about 5 inches, 6 inches out to the left. Oh, and even that wasn't enough break to play.
But he has left it comfortably for Sayri Pak, his partner. Now up at 18, John Daly. Donna?
Second shot with a short iron to this back center hole location. And John Daly with one of the better shots we've seen at 18 today will give his partner an opportunity.
And Gary, you said in the commercial break you thought that Daly was going to give Laura Davies about a 5-footer, and he did just that.
After both these players crushing it off the tee, that was just a sandwich from 114 yards.
see there Laura with just 99 yards after a 333-yard drive by Daly, and that unfortunate. That just goes through the back portion of the green, but as we said, Laura Davies will have that putt.
Well, and that could well be the putt that makes a difference in this tournament. John Daly and Laura Davies march their way to the 18th green. Sayre Pak has tapped in for her par back at 17. And we'll be back. We've got an exciting finish. Don't go away. 72nd tee. The leaders, Paul Azinger and Sayre Pak. This will be Paul Azinger. Remember, both he and Pak drove it in the trees at 16.
It's a difficult driving hole. Bunkers up the left-hand side, trees down the right, although the hole does open up a little bit more than what that picture shows you, but it really calls for a left to right tee shot.
Wind blowing straight from behind.
Good drive
He's piped this right down the middle.
He's got to like what he sees with how he's striking the ball. No question about it. That little adjustment, opening the shoulders, club going back straighter. Seems to have more freedom. Club not around behind him quite as much, not getting stuck. Looks like the Azinger of old to me.
Now Maria Yorth, she and Scott Gump at 22 under. Trail the leaders by 2.
Long hitting Maria Yorth ranks 7th in driving distance on tour. Not so accurate, however, but this one a beauty.
So that will leave Scott Gump with a relatively short second into this 18th. Sayre Pak with a little bit of the pressure eased, I would think, after Azinger found the fairway.
And she hit her drive here yesterday in the left-hand rough. See if she can get this a little more in the center.
She is certainly setting up a little bit left, like she wants to play a left to right shot.
Oh, really got her legs into that one.
Beautiful rhythm there, Mark. That is fantastic.
So they're in good shape now, up at 18. Laura Davies for a birdie. This is to tie for the lead.
We'll move to her right.
This has been her struggle all year long, but not there. What a great putt.
How about that finish for Laura Davies and John Daly? You know, you take a look at a guy like John Daly walking off that green with everything that he's been through, even though this is not official money, a win is a win, and this would be just as important to him as it would be Paul Azinger.
Well, no question about it, Mark. I mean, in talking to Paul, and Paul saying, you know, that winning breeds confidence and breeds winning. Yeah, I think this could be huge if they were to come out of this with a victory.
7 under par, 64. The final round here for John Daly and Laura Davies. And certainly
you have to take your hats off to them, too. Yesterday in the best ball, they bogeyed the 8th hole, they bogeyed the 10th hole, and it really was kind of heading in the wrong direction for them. But they hung together. You know, they didn't give up, they didn't get frustrated, and they made some birdies to finish out the round, and then a great round today.
as you watch Paul Azinger marching up the 18th fairway, here's the reaction of Laura Davies. Did it have enough speed? Yes, it did. And certainly Paul Azinger and Sayre Pak, who are looking right up the hill here from the 18th fairway, know exactly what they have to do now.
Well, I would think so. That was a pretty loud roar, and maybe 300 yards away, but I guarantee you they knew what it was for.
Again, this is a modified alternate shot format. This is a par 4, so both players hit the tee shots. Both Azinger and Sayre Pak will play seconds, and then they will choose one and alternate into the hole. So in this situation, Gary, I would think what you want to do is give yourself 2 putts at it.
Well, I think ideally, yes, Mark, you'd like to be able to have a choice and have a good choice as to which putt you take. You know, I would think, and I don't know what they'll decide to do, but you know, you'd almost like to think that Sayri Pak would play first. Go ahead, put the ball somewhere on the green, which then may free up Paul Azinger a little bit to be a little bit more aggressive. This is a back center hole location. There's only 4 yards of green behind the flag. You know, we saw Laura Davies hit it back there past the hole. You do that, you got no chance. So it'd be nice to know your partner's already on the green before you go at that flag.
Well, before we see the decision of Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger, Kay, it's going to be Maria Yorth.
Well, good position to be hitting from, center of the fairway. 31 paces back to that level. Really, at this point, you just got to go right at it. Maria's long enough where she can have a short iron into it.
I've always felt this is one of the most difficult second shots on this entire golf course. It is considerably uphill. You cannot see any of the putting surface. You see the bunkers that guard the front portion of the green there. They hide everything, as you can see. Just barely see the flag stick. And it is not easy to figure out how much the uphill adds into the shot. So now Azinger is going to go ahead and play.
Well, 141 to that ridge. Wind is helping. He's been very careful to make sure he's completely confident about what kind of shot he wants to hit in here.
He likes it.
A good line.
He likes it. He likes it. You could tell by the look in his eye. That will also do wonders for your confidence. Hitting a shot like that under pressure, knowing you need to do it.
He's talked so much about baby steps getting back into this game. First, trying to make cuts. Second, get yourself in contention, and then see about winning.
Well, just a moment ago, we saw John Daly hit it in there close, and Laura Davies having to make the putt. Now, unless Sayri Pak can put it inside of Azinger, she would have the birdie attempt.
You got 97 to the front, 32. 122 up. Long way. Yeah.
I'm saying 97 to the front, 32 on.
Take your time, stay with it.
Right in between an 8 and a 9 iron.
Well, that adds up to 129. I heard him say 122. I'm just wondering if she has the right yardage.
It'll be interesting. Unless he's referring to the distance he thinks she needs to carry the ball and then have it release as the hole is now playing downwind.
Likes the setup. Just a 3/4 swing.
Looks like she came out of it a little bit.
Certainly had the correct distance, but missed it 20 feet to the right.
And that'll catch that little shelf and funnel back away from the hole. So the putt will be up to Sayri Pak.
And I have a sense, looking at Azinger here, that he wanted the putt, Gary.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. As well as he has putted this week, I guarantee you Paul would like to have been the one to have the opportunity.
Scott Gump now, Kay.
And just a few paces ahead of where Sayri just hit from. 125 yards. Gripping down on a wedge. He always has that big full swing, no matter what shot.
Good result there. And this team will have to go back and look at this 9 and the putts that they've missed. They had their opportunities, and Yorth and Gump have made a few. Well, they could easily be right there.
What a great feeling that must be for Paul Azinger right there, Gary.
Well, I think so. It's been a long time. We've talked about that, Mark. And, you know, it's interesting. He lives in Bradenton, Florida, less than, let's say, an hour or so from here. So you know there's got to be a lot of family and friends in the gallery. Very popular player, obviously. As you can tell by that response.
as Azinger and Pak get ready for their birdie attempt here at 18. Let's go back and take a look at a couple of these birdie putts from John Daly and Laura Davies. This at the 12th.
Now this one a good 45 feet or so. And as we mentioned, perfect speed, just gets to the hole, drops right in.
And this one at the 16th, even longer. And once again, it does not rattle the hole. It's done. It rolls in the front edge. And then up at the 18th, Laura Davies, after Daly hit it in there about 7 feet.
This is a great putt. Downhill, moving to the right.
And let's go down to Donna Capone.
Who said you guys couldn't play better ball? What a great round today.
Yeah, we really started off. I mean, we had pretty much 2 opportunities to look at on the front 9, and we didn't make a thing. And then all of a sudden, it just started happening. And we both played really good today.
You guys said that the alternate shot was something that you really had to work at, and today was spectacular. And you've always said you want to get in contention, and boy, I'll tell you what, we could see the fire in your eyes.
It's fun, you know. That's what you do. You come here on a Thursday or a Wednesday for the Prime, and all you're thinking about is Sunday afternoon. Will I have a chance or not? And that's what I love doing. I know that's what John loves doing. Just playing, you know, for 30th and 40th place is no fun. This is fun. I enjoyed that.
Some tremendous putts coming down the wire. You guys had said that you were really rolling the ball awfully well, but just couldn't get anything to drop.
That's kind of the way it's been the 4 years we played, and we kind of put everything together on that back 9. And the best putt, I think, wasn't the one that went in. Laura hit a great putt on 13 that just didn't go in, and otherwise we'd have been 1 shot better. But you know, I made some long putts this week, and but like I said, we both just played really good golf today.
All right, well, congratulations. Let's go watch.
And that was the birdie attempt by Maria Yorth. As Gary Koch mentioned a moment ago, they left a lot of shots out there. Parred the final 11 holes.
And it wasn't because they didn't have opportunities. And that's great playing, 22 under. But as Scott kind of goes, what are you going to do?
So now it all comes down to this. Sayri Pak, her partner Paul Azinger, tied for the lead with John Daly and Laura Davies. Azinger has played a second shot in there to about 10 feet. Sayri Pak will putt for the win.
Well, although she has not shown it too much this week, this young woman can putt quite well. You have to be able to putt in order to win 8 events in your first 2 years on LPGA Tour. This putt is inside of 10 feet.
Down the hill and moving to the right, Kay.
I like that read, Gary.
Grain is moving in that direction, so the putt will certainly go that way when it loses speed. Mark, from here, it just looked like she never got it quite far enough left. Looked right all the way.
So after starting today's final round with the largest lead in the history of the JCPenney Classic, 4 shots, Sayri Pak and Paul Azinger will now be in a playoff with John Daly and Laura Davies. Final round of 69. We'll be back for the playoff in just a moment. Playoff will begin at 18. Sudden death, Paul Azinger and Sayri Pak versus John Daly and Laura Davies. John Daly on the tee.
And happy to be hitting first, I am sure.
Well, all he did was drive the ball 333 yards here about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, but this one is left, and that is not good. You do not want to miss left here at 18.
Well, that is right up very close to the trunk of an old oak tree. When he gets it going left, he gets it going a long way left.
These pairs have played together 3 previous rounds, and now a little more golf.
A little harder than it was, isn't it?
Talking about the wind
straight
blowing
down
a little
behind
bit
you.
harder than it was earlier. Straight behind. Mark, I've always felt like in a playoff situation, you have to go with usually the player, but in this case, I think the team with the momentum. Daly, Davies, 64 in the final round. Azinger, Pak, 69. Some struggles coming in. Daly and Davies making all those birdies. It'll be interesting to see.
Perfect drive. Wow, and long as well. Little adrenaline in that tee shot.
I'm wondering now, Gary, if the strategy is going to change for Laura Davies. We saw her hit a driver before and rip it down the fairway, but John Daly is in trouble. Will she play maybe an iron off this tee?
I doubt it. That just doesn't seem to fit her style of play, Mark. It is grip it and rip it. That's John's motto, but I think Laura lives by it as well.
Never lay up is the mantra. Taking it down the left with a little cut.
Tee up very quickly. That is in the far right-hand side of the fairway. Maybe just the first cut of rough, and certainly in good position.
As we heard Paul Azinger say when he was getting ready to play his shot, the wind has picked up just a little bit here at 18.
Right now it's picking up again. A little gusty. Nothing that'll hamper really the tempo of one's swing.
And I'm sure a disappointed Sayri Pak, who had no intention of playing another hole today, wanted to get that putt in a moment ago at 18.
Sayri is one of the most patient players out here. And that a very good looking drive right down the center.
So 3 players in the fairway at 18. John Daly in trouble. This is the first hole of sudden death. The final round of the 1999 JCPenney Classic. We'll be right back. Welcome back. John Daly, second shot at the first playoff hole.
Grabbing a wedge, 142 is the total yardage, 110 front, 32 on.
Gave Laura Davies a putt a little while ago that got him into a tie.
Oh, that is not a very good shot. That misses the green short and right. And you know, John plays so quickly sometimes, Mark, that I wonder if he doesn't align himself properly. I mean, that looked like a pretty good swing, good rhythm. I think he may have just aimed the ball over there. In contrast to this man, who will take his time, very meticulous about his routine. And I think that's what Rotella has really helped him with. I think that's why we're seeing the improved focus and concentration.
We got really howling when I hit before. Pretty much like it is now. We got 3 yards or less here.
Again, talking about the wind. Azinger, a very low ball hitter, though, Gary.
Well, and in this situation, though, with a hole cut way in the back portion of the green, that's not all bad. He can land the ball short. He's got plenty of room. He can let it skip and release a little bit back to that back hole location.
141 total.
Looked like just a little chip 9-iron.
Oh, it's going right on the flag.
Oh, right over the green.
Yeah, and he knows it. He knows it. You can't see it from down there, but you can sure tell by the crowd reaction.
Boy, it was absolutely flagged, however, just right on top.
We got 80 in front. 110.
Yeah, I got to think it probably is a little tough for him right now. It's been a long time since he's been in this kind of contention, and one thing is being able to judge your adrenaline and your power.
Well, Sayri Pak with a chance for some redemption here.
Just 123 yards, 91 to the front, 32 paces on.
She knows just how well her partner Paul Azinger has been putting, so if she could get this anywhere within 10 feet, be a real good chance he could make it.
Ideally, even anything a little left of the hole, because then that leaves an uphill putt.
She pulled this one a tad.
Oh. Well, now that is 2 unforced errors, with Daly's ball off the green and the other ball in the trees to not hit the putting surface. That's not good.
And the interesting thing about this format now is this team will not get 2 chips. They both have to choose.
That is correct.
So where there might have been an advantage now pretty much is gone.
I would think so.
Of course, we still have one more second shot to be played, and that will be Laura Davies. John Daly drove the ball in the left trees.
They got to move. Can they just not move?
Right
It's not
back.
a
Well,
big
the
deal. Sure.
crowd has come out a little bit too much, straining to see Laura's shot.
Does she have anything at all, Kay?
Everybody move back about a
Well,
foot.
she does have a little something. The ball's on the pine straw. She's got to be careful of both the backswing and the follow through.
I'm just going to try and hit a normal one, but we'll see what happens.
As close as she is to the trunk of that tree, but she can hit it out to the right. She has to keep it under a pine tree that's up about 20 yards short of the green as well.
Looks like she's going with a very lofted club, like she's going to try to go up and over.
Oh, yeah. That she did.
Oh, how about this shot here? Laura Davies is going to leave John Daly with about 15 feet.
Well, I guess, you know, maybe there's something to that if you're used to playing shots like that and used to trying to find an opening through the trees or go up and over. You know, your mind sees that. And she's not the most accurate driver either. She's probably played plenty of those out of the trees.
Well, let's take another look at this shot by Laura Davies.
Looked like a very lofted club, probably a wedge or sand wedge. Big full turn. And watch her hold on here to avoid hitting the tree. Gets it up and over the pine trees just short of the green.
And that shot makes the mistake of Azinger and Pak even bigger. And let's go down to Donna Capone.
Thanks, Mark. I'm with Mike Taxter, Senior Vice President of JCPenney. Boy, you couldn't have scripted this any better.
Not any better. What an exciting finish. You know, this is our 22nd year with the JCPenney Classic, and what an exciting way to finish. But what most exciting to us is that this tournament supports 9 charities that the JCPenney Classic has always been supporting over 22 years. No matter who our winners are, the winners of those charities that really help those in need in the Tampa area, and we're very pleased to be doing that. But what a great finish. You're absolutely right. Couldn't have scripted it better.
Okay, well, thanks for great 23 years, Mike.
Great. Thank you.
Mark?
All right, Donna, thank you. And now Gary Koch, if Paul Azinger chips, Sayri Pak putts. If Sayri Pak chips, Paul Azinger putts.
Well, and I would think that it appears that John Brendel from the
I
PGA
got
field staff is going to grant Paul relief.
Okay, we're going to come this way, Paul. Looks like I'm
Kay, is this not the more difficult of the 2 shots?
Well, definitely in that he has more green that he's going to, or more rough to chip over, and with just a small amount of green to work with. But I think what he wants to do is drop and see what kind of lie he gets, because the ball of Cerise is sitting down a little in the rough.
Because we got a club after that, so.
All right, now this guy obviously has a great short game and has been known for his wedge play. The grandstand is a temporary immovable obstruction, so he is granted free relief.
I think had Sayri's ball been sitting nicely, it would have been no question that that was the shot to take. But her ball is sitting down, nestled down in the grass.
Measure a driver or a putter, you can do that.
Whichever's longer.
All right, so they have now determined the point where Azinger swing is not being interfered with by the grandstand. He then is granted 1 more club length
Get bounce when I get closer.
from there.
We end up dropping the hole. Right. We'll 2 times we'll drop. I mean, we'll place after 2
I think
drop.
even with a good lie, this
Okay,
will
that's
still
closer to the
be
hole.
a very tough shot, as you said.
Well, it just seems to me like it's a much longer shot that he's going to have to carry the ball up in the air. He's going to have to land it onto a green that is running away from him. Whereas the other shot is much shorter, and even though the lie may not be as good, it's like you don't have to hit the shot quite as perfectly as you might have to hit this one to get it close.
Well, you just saw Paul Azinger tap himself in the chest, basically saying to Sayri, I want to play this shot.
Well, but you brought up a good point as well, Mark. By playing this shot, it now puts the putt onto Sayri Pak if for some chance he doesn't play a real good shot. I'd almost like the other situation to have Azinger hitting the putt. He's the one who has putted better this week for this team.
Well, people that are watching this at home, I know there's a lot of negativity to this shot. He could fluff it short. He could catch it a little thinly, and it will roll all the way down to the front of the green. Of course, Azinger very good at this type of shot.
Okay, it is just amazing how the mood has changed with this team just an hour ago. Going to the 16th tee, they were cruising along, hit 2 bad shots there, and then things just sort of unraveled a little bit. And of course, some great play by John Daly and Laura Davies.
Certainly, and when you're back on the tee watching them hole putts, and you know what kind of damage Davies and Daly can do when they get momentum.
He's taking a tremendous amount of time here. You can see he's trying to motion with his hand, trying to get a feel for it. He's trying to visualize where he wants the ball to land. I'm thinking, Mark, that I mean, he can barely land this ball on the green. May have to actually land it in that first cut of the fringe. That's beautifully done. A lot of spin on that ball. A lot of spin.
Did he ever make that look easy?
Still, I think he would have liked to have gotten it a little bit closer, but really shouldn't be a problem for Savory Talk.
By no means an easy birdie putt for Daly, although he defied the odds yesterday and sunk that huge birdie putt that was almost an impossible 2-putt.
This team has now birdied this 18th hole 3 of the 4 times that they've played it. Could it be a 4th?
It's putt to win.
You can read his lips. It never moved. Thought it might go a little bit to the right. I think that could be a situation where the grain is growing to the southwest, where the shadows are coming from, and I think that's probably what held that ball up just a little bit. These greens, as we mentioned, have been redone with the new Tiff Eagle grass. There's not a lot of grain in them, Mark, but there's enough.
So Savory Park now with a putt to send it to a second playoff hole.
Interesting contrast in the style of these two teams. Pock and Azinger have let each other just play their own games. You don't see them in there together consulting about the line of the putts or anything else. Daly and Davies very much the other way. They have played together 4 times now, and they're kind of involved in everything. Let's watch the rhythm of her stroke. When she gets quick and short, she has a tendency to pull the putt. Good stroke.
So we will head to the 16th tee. The second hole of our sudden death playoff. John Daly hasn't won since the '95 British Open. Paul Azinger since the '93 PGA. One of them will win today. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Innisbrook Resort in Tampa Bay. Final round of the JCPenney Classic. Second hole of sudden death, the 16th. Gary, probably the toughest tee shot on the course.
I agree with you 100%, Mark. It has been the 4th most difficult hole on the golf course. As you see, it plays 458 yards for the men, 423 yards for the women. Water in play all down the right-hand side. The fairway dog legs left to right. A straight drive too far can go right through the fairway into the trees.
John Daly with the honor.
Taking it over the water, trying to draw it, but the wind is keeping it straight. This is close.
Oh.
I did not see a splash, but that ball certainly inside the hazard line at least. It actually may have hit that bird.
Well, it's okay. That is huge. What a carry that is. That's about 320 yards in the air. I guarantee you Paul Azinger won't take that line.
No, I think we'll see him go down a more conservative route, left center. Although if you remember, he was through the fairway and into the trees with his drive here earlier.
Pack and Azinger have played this 16th hole with 3 pars and a bogey, and the bogey coming just a few minutes ago.
Wind picking up just as he was over the ball, but this perfect. Absolutely splitting the fairway.
Daly have used their length to their advantage on this hole. They've recorded 2 birdies and 2 pars in the 4 times that they've played it. Of course, made birdie in regulation a few minutes ago with Daly making that huge putt.
So with John Daly in play now, Laura Davies, Gary, can probably just stand up and rip it here.
Why wouldn't she? She'd do it if he wasn't in play. I don't think there is any backup in this lady. I mean, there's one shot to hit. That's grab the driver and let it rip. The nice thing is the hole fits the shot that she likes to play very nicely. The hole moves left to right. She's very comfortable playing that shot.
There is a little question as to whether Daly's ball is okay. Daly just came up to me asking where it was, and I said, best of our knowledge, it was all right. But that a perfect drive by Davies.
That is huge. That will leave a very short approach into the green.
Well, they're just having a grand time out here.
So is that guy right there.
He's enjoying that warm Florida sunshine.
Does not care much about this playoff. An important tee shot here, though, Gary. As good a player with the irons as Paul Azinger is, if she can get this in play, that would be a key.
Oh, I agree. Give him the opportunity to put the ball in there close.
She's hit this right, trying to draw it in a little.
That ball lands on dry ground, but whether it stays there or not.
I think I saw some ripples there, Mark.
So Se-Ri Pak, after hooking in the trees the first time around here at 16, has put it in the water hazard. We'll be back to the playoff. Welcome back. Se-Ri Pak has driven the ball in the water here at 16. But in this modified alternate shot format, a penalty shot does not change the order of play. Therefore, Paul Azinger will play his third shot.
And this shot is from 167 yards, wind hurting. Play more like 175. When he hit a nice high cut shot.
Mark, the important thing is they don't have to choose. Se-Ri Pak still gets to go over to where Paul Azinger's ball is and play that shot. That ball is in play. It is there in 3, though, if they were to decide for some reason to use the shot that Azinger just played.
And this is going to be an important time for Se-Ri Pak to step up and hit a shot. She's hit a couple of poor ones here toward the end of the round.
Well, we talked about that at the very opening of the show. That there is no way that one player can carry a team in this format. It has to be both players. And we said that Se-Ri was going to have to step up and hit some good shots and make some good putts in order for this team to win.
That wind has switched around a little bit again, now quartering out of the left and hurting. 153 is the total yardage. This is a great angle to hit her second shot in. Looks like a 6 that she's gripping.
Choking down slightly, trying to keep the trajectory down a little bit.
Drifting right.
Comes in a little hot, lands on a down slope. But not bad. It's not bad at all.
Especially when you have Paul Azinger playing the next one. And don't blink, because here goes John Daly, second shot.
From 152 yards. And this going right as well, almost like the second shot at 18.
Again, not good. Short iron. High right, blocked out.
Laura with a decent lie in the first cut of rough. Again, darn lucky that that ball carried, but that's just the power of Daly's drive bearing through the wind. It's just a wedge for Laura.
She came to the rescue at 18, Gary.
Well, she did indeed. And a tough shot here if she elects to go right at this flag, because the ball will be landing on a downslope. Out of the rough.
This looks, oh, it was the right line, but just too much jumper out of that rough.
There's an advantage lost by Daly and Davies.
So Laura Davies and John Daly with a chance to attain the advantage here. It would appear now like both he and Laura Davies missed the green here. There's her reaction. She can't believe it. We'll be right back. And we will head down to the 16th. There's a decision to be made, Kay.
Well, I think they're going to go ahead and use Laura's shot that she just hit in. Daly's shot went way to the right. I believe it's down in the trees. However, Laura's shot, Laura and John's shot is very close to the TV tower, and the cables will intervene in the swing.
Mark, I can't help but think, sometimes that super aggressive style of play pays off. Here's an example where maybe, taking off a little bit, maybe not trying to go right at the flag. I mean, Daly obviously did from the center of the fairway. Poor iron shot, misses it right in the bunker, a very bad position. Davies very aggressive out of the rough, going right at the flagstick. There's a lot of room left of the hole.
I mean, you're back far enough too. Yes, you can. I'm just going to put something for reference.
Welcome back. We're looking at John Daly, who will play Laura Davies' second shot that went through the green here at 16. This is the second playoff hole.
As long as you don't have interference, that ball's in play.
This doesn't look like a very good position, Kay, but it's certainly better than if they were playing John Daly's second shot.
Oh, definitely. And actually, they got a nice lie. He has a decent amount of green to work with. Of course, it does slope away from them, so that will be a challenge.
Saw John Daly taking the drop away from the cables which support the television tower behind the green. Of course, that is a free drop.
Gary, from a strategic standpoint, I think I might have had Laura Davies play in first since she had a difficult lie over there.
Well, here's where maybe that aggressive play gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes it pays off beautifully, but I agree with you 100%. Perhaps a little more conservative play earlier by Davies would have been better.
Nice.
Pretty good shot there by John Daly, but it'll race about 6 feet by. Now Paul Azinger.
Azinger has been looking over this putt, not even looking at John Daly while he was hitting his shot from over the green. He's just been focusing on the break, the speed of this putt. It's really not too bad a putt from place to be putting from. About 1.5 feet off the green surface.
Really kind of an ideal situation, Mark, too, as you're getting ready to hit that putt. You know if you make it, you win. But if you get it close, you still may win because Laura Davies is left with a good 6 or 7 feet for a par. So perhaps it frees you up just a little bit to make that good stroke. You don't have to make it to still have a chance to win.
I think the biggest challenge here will be that it's a 20-footer. The first part, of course, will be slow going through the fringe, and it's also going straight into the green. So being confident and firm enough with this putt.
There's a great look at that new 46-inch putter.
Oh, he didn't hit that. That is a good 4.5 feet short.
Well, Gary, it's been a couple of holes since Paul Azinger actually putted. Say Repak putted at 18. She putted there again on the playoff hole.
Well, that's the interesting thing about this format, Mark. You can easily go 3 or 4, sometimes more holes than that without hitting a putt. You are allowed to practice putt as you go along, and oftentimes players will do that, but it is one of the unique aspects about the format.
Tempting to read something into this putt of Davies, but really should not move too much. Unless it really slows down, it'll drift to the right.
Right. She's always had a lot of movement in her putting stroke. Head tends to move, body tends to move. That's a good stroke. That was a good stroke. Stayed very still that time. And her confidence has to be building. That's 2 very clutch putts that she's made, Mark.
And what a change in momentum here. All of a sudden, it looked like Azinger had the advantage, and now Repak will have a putt just to send it to another playoff hole.
Interesting situation in that last time these two played head-to-head was at the Tour Championship in a playoff. Corey Webb, Laura Davies, and Repak. Came out on top.
She has not been particularly aggressive, Kay, on putts of this length.
No, and this she has to be. Again, into the grain. It does break right to left. Maybe not as much as it looks because it's going into the grain.
Paul Laziger could do is watch. They live to play another hole. We'll be back with more from the final round of the JCPenney Classic after this. John Daly on the tee, third playoff hole.
5-iron in his hands. Going towards the center of the green with a slight drop. That's the way you need to do it. Get one on the dance floor.
Okay, safely on the center of the green, long way from the hole, but much better than the last 2 iron shots he's hit.
Normally that would be just John Daly's distance. The problem is Laura Davies has to putt that ball.
Azinger said out loud, walking over to this tee box, that he should have chipped that last third shot that he had.
Go quickly, they're hitting.
This par 3 measuring 228 yards. Certainly not what you would term a birdie hole. Although Daly and Davies have played the hole well throughout the week.
That a 4-iron. Going right of the flagstick, trying to draw it.
Well, a good shot, a very good shot, but it lands on the backside of that little slope in the green and pitches it forward just through into the back fringe.
What do you think?
Hole number what? 21?
Davies, like Daly, very quick to step to the tee. She's pulled this from the start. Not happy with that shot at all.
That will be an interesting decision, whether or not John Daly putts Laura's ball and Laura putts John's.
I don't think there's any question who's been putting long putts better. But, also giving up about 8 or 9 feet, it looks like.
And the final player, now at 17, Sayri Pak. John Brendel of the PGA Tour moving.
It's like he was moving the tee marker back to where it originally was, like it had been kicked or somebody had bumped into it.
Well, it was. It was laying down on its side. Laura, I don't think, was aware of that. He just righted it and put it in the proper position. Sayri hit 6-iron here earlier in regulation, going with that club once again.
Extremely difficult hole location once again here at 17. Not seen a shot close really all day.
This starting much further right than she wanted.
Go.
So Sayri Pak finds the bunker at the 17th. Paul Lazinger just through the green. She'll be chipping his ball. We'll be back for more of the playoff in just a moment. Now down at the green, it would appear that Laura Davies is going to putt.
That she is selecting Daly's tee ball. This putt, a fairly lengthy one of 35, 38 feet.
Again, there we see John Daly helping Laura Davies with the read.
There's a mound just past the hole that should kick this ball left to right a good deal.
Especially right in the middle of the putt, right through there. How about these putts that she's making?
Laura Davies. We talked earlier about some of her putting problems, but man, she has made some big ones at the end of this round.
Well, she failed to win on the LPGA Tour this year. 3 runner-up finishes, and the reason why, she was quick to admit that it was her putting.
Let's take a look at Laura's reaction. She knew it had a chance.
Yes.
And that makes a couple of people very happy.
It looked good all the way, didn't it, Mark? I mean, you had the speed.
So now, Sayri Pak with the difficult task of holding this shot right here.
And you'll see a very interesting chipping technique that Sae-Ri Pak uses on little chip and run shots. We'll see if she does it here. She uses a left-hand low chipping approach, very much like the putting stroke that she uses. Started doing this earlier this year in Tucson.
We saw Paul Azinger, Kay, over on the side practicing his putting stroke, but he won't need to putt anymore on this hole.
No, he won't. This is a 25-footer, right to left break.
Well, she needs to be careful because right as it gets back near the hole, it'll want to move back to the right a little bit. Goes.
John Daly and Laura Davies are the champions. And what a sweet, sweet victory it must be for both of them, particularly John Daly, Gary.
Well, I think so. We talked about it earlier in the show, Mark. Confidence is a funny thing, and it's amazing what winning will do for it. And John's struggles have been well documented all year long. What a great way to end 1999 for him and for Laura Davies.
Disappointed Paul Azinger. We talked about it not being an official event, but it was going to be important to win. I'm sure it's just as difficult not to win. Let's go down to Kay.
Thank you very much. Unbelievable finish for you two. Exciting down the stretch. Laura, you've been complaining about your putting all year, but it really came through today.
Yeah, I've been whining all year, but I said that's the longest putt I hold all year, and it's hopefully the last one of the year, so that was beautiful. But John's been helping me with my confidence in putting. He keeps telling me how good I'm rolling it, and finally, you know, that one went in. I've held some good putts this week, like John has.
Yesterday was a little tough for you too, but today it seemed like you were really rolling and having a great time out there.
Well, if she ever says she can't putt again, I'm gonna come after her. Three of the last 4 holes are clutch. I mean, and she made every one of them, so that was just awesome.
Well, congratulations, you two, on this championship. Over to Donna.
Oh, you guys, you played so well this week. Just unfortunate. But you know, Zinger, you said at the beginning of the week that you just wanted to get in contention, and boy, you did it.
Yeah, but when you're 4 shots ahead, you know you want to win. And we made 2 bogeys today, only 2 bogeys of the tournament, and that's kind of what got us. But we played well, and those guys really put on a charge, and you know, more power to them.
Well, Sae-Ri, I know you weren't feeling well yesterday, a little bit sick today, but you still had a great week, and it's fun to play an alternate event like this.
Oh yeah, really having fun this week, you know. But I hope I'm trying to help, you know, my partner, but actually he got a bad partner, I guess. But anyway, I'm doing my best. My partner's so nice, so great guy. I hope we play together and one day.
You never know.
Well, congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
Mark?
So for Gary Koch, Donna Capone, and Kay Cockrell, I'm Mark Rolfing saying goodbye from the Westin Innisbrook Resort in Tampa Bay. Your 1999 champions, Laura Davies and John Daly.